According to a 2021 report conducted by the Inspectorate of Government on the Cost of Corruption in Uganda, empirical data indicated that the country loses close to 10 trillion in both indirect and direct corruption per year. This translates to 23% of the annual government budget. In May 2021, the IGG launched a Declaration of Income, Assets and Liabilities by Public Officers program which requires public officials, including army officials, to declare their wealth.
Briefly, I can tell you that those others are required to declare 3 months after they have taken office, and thereafter every 5 years.
However, regarding the army, President Museveni warned against the open declaration of soldiers' wealth through the IGG, citing national security concerns. The letter, which was copied to the Vice President, Prime Minister and Ministers of Internal Affairs and Public Service, among others, reads in parts: the wealth in terms of conduct of the personnel of the Defense Forces is monitored by a wing of Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence, CMI. This wing is known as counterintelligence. Military intelligence gathers information about enemy armies and other enemy groups. On the other hand, counterintelligence gathers information about possible pollution of our own defense forces, NM agents, political subversive and corrupt people. Therefore, the IGG, if it is his or her mandate to fight corruption in the defense forces as well, should work through CMI and not directly. Speaking in an interview, the Deputy IGG, Dr. Patrician Ochan Okiria, said despite the presidential directive, army officers will be subjected to declare their assets and wealth under the Leadership Code of 2021, no matter what the law says, but working with the chieftains of military intelligence.
That matter came up when it came to declaration of assets, incomes, and liabilities. We were offered guidance that in order to have the exercise flow smoothly, we could work with the heads of the security institutions, and that is another way we could handle it. If the declarations are collected together and brought to us for verifications, then why not? There are mechanisms that work. Like you recall when we were conducting the declaration exercise, there are people who are not able to declare for one reason or another, like in the Karamoja region, and we gave special consideration and had to send teams to the countryside to help them out because one, they didn't have data, they didn't have network, and so our teams had to go and camp in those areas. Another region that was considered was Amolatar. So why not this special category of the UPDF because of the sensitive nature of the work they do in our country to ensure that issues to do with security are well safeguarded.
Whereas in the recent past, the presidential directive exempting army officers from declaring their wealth and assets to the ombudsman raised controversies among legislators, the Deputy IGG says the coming on board of CMI doesn't mean that the IGG has lost its constitutional mandate to CMI.
So that approach of using the CMI or a different approach to ensure that they fulfill their responsibility and obligation as provided for within the law and ensure that they all participate and come out to declare their incomes, their liabilities and assets.
But what will happen to CMI army officers who are supposed to also declare their own asset?
They do declare, but they can't investigate themselves because the law is quite clear. The law that sets up the Inspectorate of Government makes us independent. It gives us power to handle that responsibility. And that is why you see even heads of institutions have to declare. His Excellency the President had to declare. Why shouldn't these others also declare?
The Leadership Code Amendment Act 2021 makes it mandatory for all public officers to periodically declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities to the IGG. The Act also recommends punishments for officials who either delay or declare false information. For UBC, Rashid and Rebecca Kenyana.